couple of months ago in the summertime, I was hired to film a virtual tour of a very cute rural property in a small town called Alcains, situated in the Castelo Branco district of central Portugal. Now I just want to say a big thank you to Julie for allowing me to share publicly this personalized video tour that I made specifically for her. Julie decided not to purchase this property, so it is still on the market, and I will put the seller's contact details and the property details in the video description below if you want to contact him directly. Please note, I do not sell properties myself. I create private video tours just like this one for buyers who can't visit in person. You can contact me on okportugal@hotmail.com if you'd like to commission me to create your very own video tour. Now, let's get into this video. I hope you enjoy. Hi Julie, it's Ken here from OK Portugal, and I just want to say a big thank you for hiring us to film this property tour for you. We're standing right outside the front gates of the property, but I just want to give you a little bit of a look down the road. You're probably not going to be able to see much because of the sun here, but we've got these lovely old stone lined walls, so these old granite stones, and that takes us all the way down in this direction. It's enough for two cars. There are some areas which are a little bit narrow, but there's lots of spaces for cars to sort of pull over and pass. But let's look back at the property now. We've got these lovely white walls over here, and then we have these metal gates. This one on the side here is actually an electric gate. He has a key fob so that it opens automatically, and then we also have a little doorway to enter the property. And right outside we have this electricity pole over here. It's a very small one, so it's not unsightly or anything. It's quite common in Portugal. And then we have the wall of the property that extends almost to where the next pole is. So let's take a walk inside. I know you've seen this on Google Maps already, or Google Earth, so you already kind of know what it looks like. Now it's a very basic driveway over here, which is done with sort of concrete and stones and things like that. And as you go through these metal gates, it becomes a dirt track. The limit of the property starts right on the side here and basically goes in a straight line towards the house, where it then comes out, and I'll show you a little bit later, it comes out sort of to where those trees are and all the way up to a wall, and then goes back in again. So there's like an L-shaped property, and then from the house it goes all the way back in a straight line across to here. So it's actually a slightly different shape to what I was expecting, but yeah, I've been on a tour already and it looks like a very interesting and very cute place. And looking back at the front gate, we can see the Gordunia Mountains in the background, which is the mountain range just behind our farm. So I can't access this at the moment, only because this gate is open. It's an electric gate, but we will get to this section of the garden a little bit later, and I'll show you all of the veggies and all the olive trees, all the fruit trees and things like that. So let's continue down this road. We're very close to Alcains. Now Alcains is actually a very nice little town or village. They're doing a lot of work there, so they're fixing up the roads. There's lots of things like cafes, bars, restaurants, little shops, like florists. I think they've even got a vet. They've got all sorts of stuff. It's actually a lovely little place, and it's just down the road there, possibly a couple of minutes away. So as we walk down, we can see we've got this building over here. Now you wanted to know if it has electricity. Now I know it doesn't have electricity to this actual building, but the cable for the electricity runs from the front where the gates are, underneath the ground, and all the way to the house. But what this does give you is space for storing animals, so you can rear animals in here. He's got two dogs which are staying in this section over here, and they're very friendly and very sweet little doggies. Hello doggies. Hello. And on this side of the building over here we've got some storage. So we're looking at 4.8 meters by almost 2.6 meters, and those are the widths, and then 2.151 high. So a decent enough space. Obviously at the moment there's just a whole bunch of stuff being stored in here. The walls are made out of this sort of metal. It's a very basic structure, so I don't think you're going to be able to turn this into a house. It's obviously just an agricultural building. That's something that you did ask earlier. Now we have water that comes from a well. We've got a main watering point just by the front there, and this is another watering point just over here where he's got this long plastic tube, and he basically uses that to like irrigate all through here where he has a whole bunch of fruit trees. Let me actually take you through here. We've got apples, we've got plums. I did actually try one of the plums earlier. He gave me one and they were ridiculously good. Like the plums on our farm are quite hard and they're not so great. These plums are brilliant. Honestly, they're really, really good. And we have some figs. Let's see. They've got this whole chicken coop area just on the side here. It's all fenced off. Looks like we've got a couple of roosters in here actually. They're quite young. And then let's just open this up quickly. Wait, chickens, don't get up. Don't get out. Okay, so a really nice big space for the chickens. These brown ones are really good egg layers. You're going to get at least one egg a day out of these guys. And then as we walk through here, there's like a space for keeping chickens. Looks like he's even got like a little goose in there, or a little duck or something. Little boxes for them to lay eggs and things like that. And as we go across to this side over here, we've got more space for chickens. Not sure if the sunlight's going to help you see. So it's a very basic sort of agricultural building, this. And then it looks like they've got water down here. We've got all the water pipes. So perhaps you can set something like this up so that it automatically fills up water for the chickens. But it looks like he's just doing it here using this tube and straight into there. All right, so I think just to keep the tour in order, I think we're going to go to that front section next. And we're going to work our way around in a logical order so you can kind of follow where we are in the tour. We've just come from this side over here. We've just walked all the way down. This over here is a very basic sort of gate that he's put together, and this basically takes you into this section. And by basic, I mean very basic, as you can see. Just like a piece of wire holding it there. Now, he does have some sheep, and I think this is the reason why he does this, in case the sheep get in here and eat all of his stuff. So we're just going to close it like that for now. Now, as you can see, there's a whole stack of grapes. The majority of the grapes that I've seen on this section, I think these are eating grapes. And then if we go on to this section over here, we've got some more eating grapes. I mean, these look magnificent. Look at those. It's absolutely huge. So yeah, he's definitely doing a good job of keeping everything watered. And on the sides here, we've got lots of things like pumpkins and squashes and things like that growing. And these are sections here where you can basically plant things. So he's got something here, he's got onions there. This section over here was all potatoes, but we're out of season now for the potatoes. And the whole way dotted through, we have these olive trees. So these are quite young ones, but there's obviously much bigger, older ones on the property here. A lot of them. So let me take you a little bit further. Now, he was saying that some of the olives are for olive oil. So if you see these ones over here, these are the little ones, and these are the ones that you'll press for olive oil. But then he said he's got the big olives, the big eating olives, and he has 3 of those. So this big one over here, this big one over here, and that big one just over there. And these bigger olives, they're called Cordoville, and they are still growing. So they're a little bit bigger at the moment, but they're obviously going to get bigger than that. And yeah, you're going to have some nice eating ones. All right, so we've just walked through the gates over here. This is where the chicken house and everything is. We've walked along this way. And let me just spin you around and show you the sort of entrance part here. So we've got, let me just get into the shade so the camera can see a bit better. This is the electric gate. And as he said, it's on like a key fob, so you can open it remotely. We've got this sort of gate area here. And then we've got water. Now this is the water that comes from the pump. The water set up here just goes along this hose, and he can basically use that to hand water all of these different beds and things like that. But you could possibly put down your own automatic like irrigation systems with little timers and things, and you could keep this whole thing irrigated that way. And from the front entrance, there was that little door on the left hand side, and this is it over here. So you do have that access. And on this side over here, we have the mains electricity that enters into the property. Very simple, as you can see. We just have a couple of fuses, and that's it really. And then we have this wire over here, a couple more here. It looks like these are the wires that possibly go underneath the ground to the house. And on this side over here, we have the wall from the other side, so a beautiful old stone wall, and this massive olive tree. Look at that, really nice. And then he's done some shading over here with shade cloth. I mean, we are experiencing a really big drought, massive heat, and it's quite important at this time of year to kind of shade things. He's got some beans growing over here. Now, things do look a little bit, like a little bit messy, but this is actually quite normal for this time of year on a farm. I know from his photographs on Idealista, everything was really nice. It was looking amazing, and it definitely will again in spring. Okay, so that's that section. Let me try and see, I want to try and see if I can show you what the views look like here. So looking back at the area where we've just come from, over here is the wall and you've got the trees. It's going to be difficult to show you this because of the sun, but there's just a lot more trees over here. There's this neighboring field just on the opposite side of the driveway here, and it's quite pretty. Lots of olive trees dotted around, a nice big well over there, all of these big trees in the distance. And now looking up towards the house, we can see where the chicken house and all the storage rooms were. And there is a neighboring house just over there, but it's quite well hidden. All right, so let's go a little bit further. Well, actually, this is a good idea to point out where the border is here. So if I flip you around, we've got where this fence line is over here is the border of the property. So it's very well marked, and it basically runs in a straight line all the way from the wall straight up to the house. And then, as I said, it does like an L shape where it comes out this way. So let's go a little bit further and get back on the road. And through this little gate. And I must just make sure that I lock it up so that none of the sheep or anything can get in there. And here's some of the sheep that I was talking about. So you can see these are nice big fat sheep. These are actually meat sheep. And the owner said that these are his sheep. So I'm guessing he will still own this piece of land over here. He's a really lovely guy and really friendly. Can speak a little bit of English. I think he can understand it more than he can speak it. But yeah, beautiful sheep, nice field. It's a very pretty plot. It's 5,000 square meters, so it's half a hectare. And it feels nice and open because you've got all of this space around you and really nice views. We've just walked up the driveway to this section over here. And I just want to show you, we've got this open field section here. There's obviously fencing along the outside of it. The fencing is quite old in parts. It's very basic sheep fencing, so it's very easy to replace. But as you can see, we have this nice big field. We've got lots of apples. Let's go and have a look at those quickly. And they're looking very healthy. Really nice. Another huge apple tree over there. And then lots of grapes going all the way along the fence line. And let's walk further to that point over there. It is boiling hot at the moment. It's probably about 7:30 at night, and yet it's still really, really hot. So, you know, this is what it's like in the summer here. But I do love the sun and I do love the heat. And so now we're entering a section where we have the driveway that obviously spans here in a straight line with the limit of the property. And then there's actually a section that opens up here where you can turn around the car and park cars. And if we look on our left-hand side, we have the well. This is what they call a Nora. And I'll show you that in a little bit more detail in a moment. But first of all, I want to do the outside of the property a bit more. But let me give you a little glance, a little glimpse of the house. Okay, so as you can see, lots of space for storing cars, for turning around cars. He's kept things like pallets and things, which are probably useful for firewood. And there's some sort of agricultural things here, like a dog kennel and the wheelbarrows. And then we have this big fig tree over here. And this takes us to what I would have thought was the limit of the property, but it actually goes further. It goes through this gate section and the property continues all the way up in a straight line. So let me get this gate open and I'll show you. So obviously we're on a farm. It's very basic sort of stuff, but all very functional. Now, as we turn around, this is the limit of the property. So kind of in line with this. Obviously the fencing over here is kind of non-existent, but you could run some sheep fencing along here. And I'll show you how it goes. This section over here where you see the sheep, where the sheep fencing is, that's the other sort of limit of the property. And then it goes in a straight line all the way up the top where you can see the sun and the trees and everything there. So let's just take a little walk. I hope you are able to see, because obviously we have the sun shining right into the lens of the camera. But really pretty. Look at that, more apples. In fact, these aren't apples, these are quinces. So they look like apples. They're quite hairy or furry, and you can make marmalade out of these. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, basically the fence kind of stops there, but it actually goes in a straight line up to these bricks or rocks. So these are the old boundary limit lines or rocks. So we got like the big one over there, this one over here, this one over here. And as you can see, these continue up straight in a straight line. Let's just try and get out of the way of the sun here. Let's try and see if I can get the sun behind the building. And it goes in a straight line sort of to where these trees are here. And up on the top here is another one of those big stone walls like you have at the front of the property. We have all these beautiful rocks over here, and then that takes us back down kind of where the line of the trees are and where the fence is. And let me just turn you around quickly and give you a view of what it all looks like. So quite pretty. And there's where the chicken house is and the tool shed. And this piece of land over here, which obviously isn't included in the property, has this old stone building on it. And I believe this must belong to the owner because he has his sheep grazing through here and grazing on this section and also grazing on the section behind the house. So quite possibly, if you were interested, maybe you can ask him if he's interested in selling that extra little bit of land to you. And then you've got some other options. I mean, there's a stone house over there. Perhaps that could be renovated and fixed up. But obviously that's something that you'd have to check with the owner and something that you'd have to check with lawyers to make sure that it's legal to actually turn something like that into a house. All right, so I'm just walking back. I'm going to go to where the house section is, and I'm going to fast forward you just to the gate. All right, so we've just gone through the gate. Now let's start having a look at the little garden space outside the house. So this is the well. You can see he had some old well pump over here. This looks like a brand new one just over here. And this space over here where the hole is basically takes you down into the well. Now I know you have a little dog, so I'd be putting something here to ensure that your dog can't run through there and possibly into the well. And speaking of wells, let's go and have a look at this quickly. Now these were used in the old days. As you can see, we've got all of this machinery here, and we've got this walkway that goes around the perimeter of the well, and they would get a donkey or an ox or a cow or something, and then that would basically, it would walk around in a circle, and that would turn these wheels that had buckets that used to go on a chain up and down and bring water into this space over here and down into this thing over here and take it around the property, mainly into these water tanks. So now we're looking down the well. It's a huge one. I'm guessing this well is at least 4.5, about 4 meters, maybe 5 meters wide, very deep. He says it never runs out of water all year round. I believe him because it's the same as us and we live quite close by. This is the pipe that goes to the pump. Now the thing with a well like this is obviously you can see all the stone walls. It's impossible to really sanitize something like this. So I don't think you're going to be able to use this for drinking water. But obviously you can use this totally fine for putting water inside the house, and we use it for like washing dishes, we use it for washing our clothing, we use it for irrigation and everything like that, and it's perfectly acceptable. And then we get our drinking water from the village fountain. So there'll be a fountain in the village, take some bottles down there, fill it up, or you can buy bottles at the shop or something like that. And we just use that just for drinking, just for cooking, just for tea, and anything that we consume internally. So again, lots of grapes all over the place. Look at these, really pretty and in good condition. So this is the water tank just on the side next to the well. Obviously you could fill something like this up. You could have a little fish pond in here. What we've done with ours is we fill it with water, and if it's a really hot day you can actually sit inside, and you could probably line it on the inside and paint it and make it look quite nice. And we have some little steps that run down here and to the house, a couple more steps taking you back up. And on this side over here we have like a little herb garden. He's got some herbs and things like that here. We got some berries, look at these, it's blackberries. And he's got some flowers and some sort of succulents. It's all very pretty. So here's a view of the well from the area we just came. We walked up here, we've just come down here, but there's another access from over here which you can enter, and that's where the driveway is, where the cars are. And this is Carlo, yeah. Hola. He's a good guy, very friendly. And then this is the main sort of gate. So you park your car on the side here, and you can come straight through this way, and you can come to the house. And as you can see, the house has got some steps going up here to get to the upstairs section, or you can go around this side and you can get to this little front section. And he's got a nice little seating area out here. We've got some stuff for barbecue. We've got spaces for storing wood and things like that. Underneath here we've got the gas bottles. So in the house there's a gas boiler, and that basically does hot water. And then there's a gas oven. And we've got this lovely covered porch area where there's some furniture and things like that that are basically just a place to relax. And let me spin you around again. This is this little herb garden section. And let's go to the front. So, got the front door over here, we have the window over here. It's all very basic, as in we have the metal shutters, a single pane glass that's open at the moment, and then the front door is also in metal. And I'm just going to spin you around here and show you the view from the front door. So if you were standing in your front door now, this is the view that you would have out over the outside seating area. And again, it's quite private. This is the sort of boundary line that runs in a straight line all the way to the front there. And this is the neighboring property. So you can see it's quite private. That's the house over there. It's blocked by an evergreen citrus tree. He says that no one lives there. It's basically used as an agricultural building for when they do vegetables and things like that. And it looks like they've got a well just over. Oh, they've got 2 wells. And yeah, nice and peaceful. Okay, so let's go inside. So here we go, the front door. We've got this fly netting over here. The flies aren't actually too bad at all. You know, sometimes when you have sheep, the flies can be pretty bad. So we've got this metal door, single pane glass. Very, very common here in Portugal to have one of these, but really not difficult to replace this with an insulated door if you want to. And now we look inside the house. We enter into the kitchen area. And I quite like the ceilings. I like the way they've done it with the wood running through the ceilings. And on the walls here, we've got the beautiful old stone walls. Really nice. Now there's a huge table over here. Well, there's 2 tables, so it takes up quite a bit of space. But without those, I think this room is going to be quite big. The room is 8.4 meters long by 3.334 meters wide by 2.483 meters high. Now the width is obviously just taking into account this section and not where it goes around the corner, which we'll measure a little bit later. And on the wall over here, we've got some basic kitchen units. We've got a double sink. We've got the little gas oven and cooker over there. And then this is the water heater, which also runs off gas. And let's just give you an idea of the water. So we've got pumped water, quite good water pressure, and all very basic, but like obviously you could replace all of this and put in a fancier kitchen. Let's just stand in this corner over here and give you a better look of everything. We've got very basic fluorescent lights just up on the ceiling here, but they do a pretty good job of illuminating the house. And got this dresser. Now he did say that everything is basically going to stay with the house, apart from very personal effects. So things like clothing and stuff like that is going to be taken. But otherwise, all of the furniture is going to stay with the house. And if we go around this side over here, we've got a window over here, also metal shutters on the window. And looking around the corner, we've got like a little dining section, and that leads into the bathroom. And then we have this nice big sort of mantelpiece area. Let me just show you the windows. Quite basic aluminium windows, and then a very big metal shutter. And this looks outside, I would say like a little covered area that you could turn into a conservatory or something like that. It's difficult to show you with this in the way though. Now looking back at this mantelpiece area, there's a lovely fireplace, and look at that. So beautiful old stone granite fireplace. You can see it's been in use. You've got a nice cast iron pot there for making stews and soups and things. Really, really nice. Okay, let's go around this way. Another ward dresser over there, little table, and now we can see some of this old stone granite work. So this is like the old original building piece over here. And up on the top here, we've got a skylight. Now the skylight is single paned, and it's got a wooden frame, and he's put something over that now in the summertime, otherwise the sun will bake in here and it'll heat things up. But that can be removed. And over here is like a window that leads into the bedroom upstairs, and that just lets light pass through. But obviously you could put proper glass here with like, you know, some kind of shades or something. But we'll see that in a moment. And then here's the bathroom. It looks like it's been newly renovated. Let me just open this up here. We've got quite a nice porcelain toilet and bidet. A really nice big open window here. We've got the shower unit on the side here, which is it's clean and it's in good condition. And then let's just stand in this corner over here. We've got this sink and wash space. It's actually a nice size room, this. And before I give you the size of the bathroom, I need to give you the size of this little area of the lounge. So this part of the living room is 6.7 meters long by 4.113 wide, and the roof height goes to 2.625 meters. And the bathroom is 1.986 meters wide by 2.443 long by 2.3 meters high. And let's just give you one last look at the bathroom. Also, again, we've got very basic LED light fittings on the top there. I do notice there is a little bit of a crack in the wall over there, a little bit of a spacing over there. But I'm not sure how serious any of that is. Obviously, this is a very old building, and just some light sort of cracks over there. Okay, so as we come around this side, we've got a little staircase that takes you up to where the bedrooms are, and then we have a little storage space, and then we have this room over here, which is like a basement or a storage room. I can't actually open this, so let me get Carlos to open it for me. Cool, so over here is just a whole bunch of storage. It's going to be like a cellar almost, but it's on the ground floor. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here now. He said that a lot of this stuff over here is his. I think this belongs to someone else, so I don't think that that's going to be coming with the property. But a lot of these are his own personal effects. So he's got like his potatoes over here. He was just showing this is from his potato harvest. And look at those. They look really nice. I think he's put eucalyptus leaves on to ward off bugs and things like that. But yeah, quite a nice space, but the ceiling height is a lot lower. So this room is 3.428 meters by 4.941 meters with a roof height of 1.915. And it actually takes us, you can go through here, and it takes us to the back of the house that we haven't actually seen yet. And I'll show this to you quickly. This is like a kitchen prep area, and over here is actually where he used this for things like for butchering sheep and things like that. So they'll hang the animal here, they'll do all of the cutting, and obviously there's a space to clean. And if we look down this side over here, this is when we were in the living room earlier and I said that there's this outside section. And it's got a very basic sort of metal roof covering, and they've got some very basic sort of shuttering on the side here to make a sort of conservatory area. And this over here is the border of the property that then runs in a straight line all the way up there, as we said earlier. And this would be the neighboring land here where he's got some sheep on. And I've just noticed there's a really nice table out here. Look at this. So just out here where the car's parked, it's got this beautiful old table. Look at that. And we've got some lovely granite stones here as well. He said that these were from some kind of pillars that made up some kind of an outside arch or covering area, porch area. All right, so let's go back inside and continue with the interior house tour. So we're going to make our way through here. So let me give you some dimensions on this space. That basically takes us up the stairs. Okay, so this space is 3.813 meters in its length, 1.267 wide, with a roof height of 1.893 meters. So the roof does dip down here. And as we go up the staircase over here, you've got to duck down in order to get your head under here, and it starts to get a little bit narrower, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm actually standing, I'm 5'9", and I'm standing up, and I'm on the first step. Obviously if I go onto the second step, I just have to move my head and then I'm good. And as I go up the stairs, I've just got enough space for my shoulders, and that width is 0.558 meters, so almost 56 centimeters wide. And then as we go up these stairs over here, let me show you what the roof looks like. We go around the corner and into the bedroom. So now bear in mind that this is a like a rural building, so It was never actually meant to be like a fully lived in house, but it's done to a spec where you can actually stay in it. But it's all very, very basic. We've got the bed on this side over here. We have that space where the skylight is. And I'll show you the rest of it, but first let me give you the dimensions. So the bedroom is 3.549 meters wide by 3.442 meters wide and 2.294 meters high. It's actually quite a nice space. As you can see, it's got quite a big double bed in here. There's a lot of room around it. Let me just take you around to this side where there's like a wardrobe hanging space where you can store stuff. And a nice size. You could put a pole here and you could store all of your things and have your shoes on the bottom. And over here is an area where he's had this in the way. I imagine in winter you would probably board this off to stop all the cold. And you'd probably have this open to let the sun in. And this gives you a view of the living room space, just over here. And we can actually see into the attic roof space from here as well. Okay, and then if I spin you around and stand in this corner over here, we can see the room a little bit better. We've got a window just on this side over here. I did try opening this up earlier and it's quite jammed, so I don't know if I can get it open, but I will be able to show you the view from just out here. And I think I'll show that to you in a moment as we finish this last room. And just on the top here we have access to the attic space. And from what he was telling me is the way that the roof is shaped, you can actually stand up in the center. It just gets quite low on the sides. So there is a space where you could actually stand up there. And let's go through to the second room. The first thing we see are the lovely big windows. Let me just point out the floor. So we've got like a sort of, it's not a real wood floor, it's like a sort of plastic type floor with like a covering on it. And over here we have some tiles. They're sort of like terracotta look tiles and they look quite good. And then let me just stand in this corner over here. We've got space for this bed over here. It's not quite a double, it's not quite a single. And let me stand in the other corner quickly. We've got space for a wardrobe. And then obviously we have the windows that give you a really nice view over the mountains and over the garden and over the patio and porch, and also the little staircase coming up here. Now obviously these windows are very basic. The first thing I'd do is get like proper double glazing and things like that in here. But they do have these metal shutters and then they have these wooden shutters that are obviously going to help you a lot in the winter if you did stay with these basic windows. Right, so I just wanted to look at something again just before we left because I wasn't really able to see the roof properly. And as I look through this space, it becomes easier to see what's going on. So if we look in here, we can see the roof is quite old, but it's hard to tell. I can't really see if there's any, from here it's difficult for me to really see what's going on in there. But I'm sure we'll be able to see outside with the drone a little bit better. And I think that concludes the interior of the house. And a really nice way to end that off is to end off on this nice porch area with these granite stones. And we can see out onto the garden and we can see all of the surrounding view. These are the roof tiles on this porch area and you can see that they're quite old. I'm not sure if the tiles on the roof are exactly the same, but quite possibly. And then we got these stairs going down, these granite stairs. And so you could basically walk straight out of your bedroom and into your garden or get to the driveway and get to the beautiful views looking out all over the place. Hello. Right, I've managed to get the drone stuff done just in time, hopefully. I didn't really fly it as long as I'd have liked to because we got quite strong winds that we're picking up earlier. And also the sun's just gone down in the background over there, so it was quite difficult. We obviously started this video quite late at about 7 p.m. But yeah, I hope it's managed to sort of answer everything, all of the questions that you had about this property. It is a beautiful bit of land and yeah, it's a beautiful evening. And just one last thing I wanted to mention is obviously Carlos is a private seller. So, you know, you aren't buying from an agent or anything like that. You do need to get, you know, a property lawyer to have a look, make sure that all the documentation is in order, and that you can do everything with this property that you want to, because obviously this is it's like an agricultural, or it's like a house rural, casa rural. It's not intended for permanent habitation, and so, you know, that's something that you're going to have to look at if you legally want to stay here 365 days a year. And obviously you're going to want a lawyer just to check things like the boundaries of the land, you know, the limits, and whether people have access across your land and things like that. And yeah, good luck with your choice on choosing a house in Portugal. All the best. Ciao, Julie.